How's it going, everyone? My name's Sam. I usually talk about stocks and crypto on the channel, but today we're talking about something different. Most people's, their largest expense is either rent or a mortgage. And as someone that does not have a mortgage and has a fully paid off house in their 20s, I want to go through some of the pros and some of the cons and talk about whether I regret not ever having a mortgage. And I'm working towards something now that will give me some flexibility, which is something that I want to talk about at the end, something that really everyone that has a significant amount of equity in their home should really focus towards getting and setting up and having ready for you. Now, I have a very interesting situation where I was at a W-2 job. I was able to make a decent living, but not enough to really make a name for myself, not really enough to make enough to feel comfortable. It was less than $50,000 a year, and I couldn't grow very quickly. At the same time, my YouTube channel was growing fairly quickly itself, and I was making more money from YouTube than I was from my day job. I was working part-time, and this is at a time where I knew that I was going to have to qualify for a mortgage really soon. So I did something that almost no one does or can do, which I was actually someone that bought a home in cash. Now, I was scrambling like crazy after that because I needed money for paying taxes. I was investing a lot at the time. And at the time, I really didn't want to buy the home in cash. And I know that sounds crazy, and I'm in a very interesting situation, but you have to realize I was also really interested in the stock market. I was making stock market content and crypto content at the time. I really want to invest, and I only want to put about a 20% down payment on a home so I could take the rest of the money and invest into one of the most exciting markets that we've ever seen, the 2021 and the 2020 stock market and crypto market. So it was a really interesting scenario where I had to use all my cash for the home. Now, there are definitely some drawbacks, and there's definitely some pros to this too. I will say, if you want to start investing in the stock market, you can check out the link beneath the video to moomoo. They're giving you up to 10 free stocks if you deposit $100. Also hit that subscribe button so you can see these future videos on how to make money. Now, we had bought the house. I was coming from my parents' house. My fiance at the time was coming from her parents' house. And we knew it was a blessing that we were put in a situation where we could buy a house in cash. But again, as someone that's very analytical, I realized that if I could have gotten a mortgage then, because I couldn't, because I stepped away from my day job, I was making money on YouTube, but I was not qualified to get a mortgage because I didn't have 2 years tax returns. I realized that if I could get a mortgage and lock it in at 3%, I would have much rather done that as opposed to putting the whole amount down in cash. Now, there are definitely some pros that came from this as well. Right now, if we travel, I feel pretty comfortable leaving the house unrented and knowing that I don't have a $1,000 payment. We are in a cheaper area of the US, but still not having a $1,000 payment is a huge kind of relief. And if nothing else, which I could still pay for it even if we traveled, if nothing else, it is just kind of a mental thing, knowing that even if we go out and travel, we're not paying to travel and paying for back home. We're really just paying for the travel itself. Now, I would much rather invest the money, all things being equal. If I could get a low mortgage payment again, mortgage payments have moved up to about 5.5%, as I understand. I would much rather invest in real estate somewhere else, buy a couple other rental properties or buy stocks or buy crypto. But at the time, if I had done that, I would have actually lost money. The market's been down. So just keep that in mind. If you're wondering if you should pay off your home or invest over the long term, it's probably better to invest. And we're talking like decades here, because a mortgage payment, even at 5%, won't be able to beat out the amount of money that you can make in the stock market or in crypto as well. But you have to realize that over a short time span, like over the last couple of years, I would have actually lost money. Now, for me, I am very analytical. So like I said, I look at the numbers and realize that it's better spent somewhere else. But my wife really appreciates that the house is paid off. She knows that my job fluctuates a lot. My income fluctuates a lot. She doesn't work. So just having that peace of mind that we're not going to be homeless is fantastic for her. And she really appreciates that. And that's one reason that we may be a little bit more conservative moving forward with how much we actually pay off and making sure that we don't have a huge payment. Now, With that said, there definitely are still some drawbacks. Like I said, you can make more in the market. It is nice to have the peace of mind, but I think the biggest thing that is great about the situation we're in is we can get what's known as a home equity line of credit. So what that is it's the ability to draw from the equity in your home. The great thing about this is we have access to the money then without having a mortgage. So how does that work? Well, you set it up with your bank and it acts kind of like a credit card that has much, much lower interest rates, and you actually already have the money. It's, again, equity in your home. So the great thing about that is I can access money from my house if I want to. That closes actually this week. I'm going to be able to get that all set and done. So that way, if there is some large opportunity, let's say there is some rental property I want to invest in, or the market really does fall down to historic lows, and I just feel like I really want to take advantage of that, I can take a portion of the equity out of my house and put it into those different areas of investing. The good thing about this is, one, there's no closing costs, which is fantastic. And then two, I don't have to pay interest the entire time that I have that set up. I only have to pay when I pull money out, and then when I put it back in, then I don't have to pay anymore. So it's not like a mortgage right now where I would have to refinance my house. I would start getting the payments, and I'd have to start making payments and getting interest that I'd have to throw out the house or the mortgage every single month. The fact is I only pay it when I use it. So it is kind of a nice cash cushion. And that also allows me to invest a little bit more aggressively. I don't have to hold as much cash around because I have over $200,000 worth of equity in my house, closer to $250,000. So the fact is I can draw about $200,000 out if I really needed to. So let's say all of a sudden everything goes belly up on YouTube, I get kicked off YouTube, heaven forbid. I would still, even if I invest all my cash, I would still have the ability to pull from that house fund. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily what you should do. I still think you should keep some cash, even if your house is paid off. But that is very nice to have that kind of money line set up. So do I regret paying off the house? No, because I couldn't have gotten the house any other way at the time. Do I wish I could get a 3% mortgage, knowing that I am very young and I would make a lot more in the stock market and in the crypto market? Yes, I realize that that would be great and I would make more money over time. So if we do fall back down in mortgage rates, I most likely will try to refinance. Now we are looking at other houses, so whether we keep this one as a rental or whether we sell it, we will be looking for mortgages moving forward if we're in that kind of rate environment. That's also generally a really good time to be buying stocks if rates are that low, because that is very dovish, and stocks and crypto typically do really well in that kind of environment. Now, of course, I'm not trying to sit here saying, woe is me, I could be making more somewhere else. I feel very glad that I'm in this kind of situation, but I do think there are always pros and cons, which I want to lay out as someone that has kind of been in a rare situation. The peace of mind is fantastic. And if I was in a different situation myself, if I was making maybe a little bit less money, I would probably even feel stronger about that fact. So it is great. Just know over the long term, you might be able to make more money somewhere else. So it is a little bit of a trade-off. Now, if you're getting closer to retirement though, it is nice knowing that you don't have to draw as much down in your retirement funds, because that means you won't be taxed as much either. So there are definitely some tax implications when you get a little bit closer to retirement that you have to consider when you're looking at paying off your homes. Now, let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Let me know if you think I'm crazy or if you think maybe it's smart. What I'm doing, again, I would get a mortgage if I could at a good rate. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Check out the link underneath the video to moomoo. Check it out. Really, there's free money there. Think about how many hours it would take you to get $2,000, and you can get up to $2,000 with that link. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.